Imagine standing at a crossroads. To your left, comfort and safety. To your right, challenge and uncertainty. And in front of you, a path shrouded in fog, leading to the unknown. Most people stand there, hesitating. Stepping forward, then back, questioning themselves again and again. But life doesn't reward hesitation. It rewards clarity. There's one decision you must make, and once you make it, you must never doubt it again. When most people wake up in the morning, the very first thought they have is about what they must do. The list of tasks begins to build even before they rise from their bed. Work deadlines, family obligations, responsibilities and chores. We are conditioned to live life based on doing. But here is the trap. If you measure yourself only by what you do, your sense of identity shifts like sand in the wind. One day you're successful because you achieved something. The next day you feel worthless because you failed. This constant swing between pride and despair comes from defining yourself by actions instead of essence. That is why the deeper decision must always be about who you are. Because who you are does not change when circumstances change. Imagine a tree. If you only look at its leaves, you will see them turn green, then brown, then fall away. If you look at its branches, some may grow, others may be cut. But when you look at the roots, they remain steady, invisible yet strong, defining the life of the tree itself. Your doing is like the leaves and branches, ever changing, but your being is the root. And unless you decide who you are at the root level, you will always chase the leaves, never realizing they are temporary. People often ask questions like, should I pursue this career or that one? Should I take this opportunity or the other? These are questions of doing. But notice how much doubt they create. You may spend weeks, months, or even years deciding which action is best. But let me ask you, if you had already decided who you are, would these choices not become clear? For example, if you decide, I am someone who seeks truth and growth, then whichever career aligns with that identity will naturally reveal itself. If you decide, I am someone who values freedom above comfort, then every choice that limits your freedom will immediately fall away. The external decisions become easier because the inner decision is already made. Think of the great athletes, philosophers, or leaders of the past. Their power did not come from the specific tasks they performed each day. It came from the identity they embodied. A great warrior does not ask himself daily, should I fight today, or should I not? He has already decided, I am a warrior, so when battle comes, the action flows naturally. A teacher does not wake up confused about whether she should teach. She has decided, I am a teacher, so every interaction, every lesson, every word is guided by that choice. Their clarity of being eliminates the doubt of doing. And this is why the decision of who you are is far more powerful than the decision of what you do. Now, you might wonder, how does one make such a decision? The answer is not found in overthinking. It comes from listening. Deep within, every human being knows their nature, their values, and their direction. But that voice is often buried under noise, expectations from parents, demands from society, comparisons with peers. To decide who you are, you must silence the noise and ask, what qualities do I want to embody regardless of the circumstances? Perhaps it is courage, perhaps it is wisdom, perhaps it is compassion. Once you decide, I am this, you stop being tossed around by every external storm. You become anchored. Finally, let us reflect on why this choice must never be doubted again. Because the moment you allow doubt to creep in, you return to the endless cycle of chasing tasks and titles. You return to being defined by success or failure, applause or criticism. But when you stand firm in identity, even failure does not shake you. A warrior can lose a battle and still remain a warrior. A teacher can face an empty classroom and still remain a teacher. The essence does not depend on the outcome. Once you decide who you are, That decision gives you stability, direction, and peace, and in a world full of uncertainty, those three things are more valuable than gold. There are moments in life when hesitation feels harmless. We think, I'll wait a little longer before I choose. But what we fail to realize is that hesitation quietly eats away at our energy. A person standing at a riverbank, endlessly debating whether to step in, becomes more exhausted than the swimmer already moving with the current. Why? Because the swimmer decided, and in that moment of decision, energy aligned, focus sharpened, and the body began to act. The one still hesitating holds all that energy in tension, paralyzed by endless what-ifs. Decision is power because it channels scattered energy into a single direction. Doubt is poison because it scatters energy in every direction until nothing remains. Think about this. When you fully commit to something, even something simple, your entire being comes alive. Imagine deciding, without hesitation, I will climb this mountain. Suddenly your thoughts, your body, your choices all move in harmony toward that single aim. Your food becomes fuel for the climb. Your rest becomes preparation. Your words begin to align with the journey. Even obstacles appear less threatening because you know exactly why you're facing them. Contrast this with the person who says, maybe I'll climb, maybe I won't. Perhaps tomorrow, perhaps never. This person spends more time battling themselves than the mountain. The enemy is no longer outside, it's within. History shows us countless examples of people whose lives transformed the moment they made a single decision. A soldier in battle, overwhelmed by fear, can shift instantly when he decides, I will not retreat. A struggling student who finally resolves, I will master this subject no matter what, suddenly discovers the focus and discipline to push forward. The decision itself becomes a source of power, a light cutting through fog. On the other hand, those who linger in doubt waste precious years. They move one step forward, then retreat 2 steps back. They change direction so often that they never reach anywhere at all. Their lives become circles of hesitation rather than lines of progress. The poison of doubt doesn't only delay action, it corrodes self-belief. Every time you doubt yourself, you silently send the message, I cannot trust myself, and the more you repeat this message, the weaker you become. Eventually, you lose faith not only in decisions, but in your own strength to act. That is why doubt is dangerous. It disguises itself as caution, as careful thinking, but in truth it robs you of momentum. Decision, even if imperfect, builds momentum. You can adjust course along the way, but you cannot adjust anything while standing still. A ship must leave the harbor before it can change direction at sea. There is also something mysterious about decision that many people overlook. Life itself responds to it. Have you noticed that when you commit to something with all your heart, opportunities begin to appear? People arrive to help, circumstances shift, doors open. It almost feels as though the world respects clarity. Yet when you hesitate, when you move half-heartedly, those same doors remain closed. Others sense your uncertainty, and the universe mirrors it back to you. It is not magic, it is alignment. Decision aligns your mind, body, and actions, and that alignment makes you magnetic. Doubt scatters you, and the scattered attract nothing. So understand this truth. Decision is not about choosing perfectly, it is about choosing powerfully. Even if you make the wrong choice, the act of deciding gives you movement, courage, and lessons that doubt could never give you. Doubt keeps you trapped in theory, while decision throws you into reality. Reality is where you grow, where you learn, where you become stronger. The longer you stay in doubt, the weaker you become. The sooner you decide, the more powerful you feel. This is why decision is power and doubt is poison. A decision, no matter how powerful, is like a spark. It can light up the night for a moment, but without fuel it quickly fades into darkness. Many people make decisions in moments of inspiration. They decide, I will change my life. I will pursue this path. I will transform myself. And for a day, or perhaps a week, they are full of energy, but then the routine of life returns, distractions creep in, and the decision begins to weaken. Why? Because without discipline, decisions remain fragile. Discipline is the bridge between inspiration and transformation. It is the quiet force that turns a spark into a steady flame, and that flame into a guiding fire. Think of a farmer planting seeds in his field. The act of planting is the decision, but the harvest does not depend only on planting. It depends on whether the farmer waters the soil daily, protects it from weeds, and waits patiently for growth. If he plants and then forgets, the seed will die. If he plants and then checks impatiently every hour, he will see nothing and lose faith. But if he plants, waters, and waits, the seed grows, slowly, silently, but with certainty. Discipline is the daily watering of your decision. It is what transforms potential into reality. Discipline is often misunderstood as punishment, as something heavy or restrictive. In truth, discipline is freedom. Imagine two musicians. One practices daily, repeating scales, strengthening technique. The other plays only when they feel inspired. Who has more freedom on stage? The disciplined one, because discipline gave them mastery. Decision made them a musician, but discipline made them great. The same is true in every field of life. Discipline sharpens the blade of your decision until it can cut through obstacles. Without discipline, even the sharpest decision grows dull. But discipline requires patience, and this is where most people fail. We live in a world that worships quick results. We want to plant a seed today and eat the fruit tomorrow. Yet nature teaches us a different lesson. All growth requires time. The oak tree does not apologize for taking decades to reach its full height. The mountain does not rush to rise from the earth. Your decision, too, requires patience to mature. Discipline is the act of showing up each day, whether you see progress or not. It is the faith that your actions, repeated faithfully, will bear fruit when the season is right. Consider also how discipline strengthens not just your decision but your character. Each day you choose discipline, you are telling yourself, I honor my word. Each day you act despite difficulty, you are training the mind to obey your deeper will rather than fleeting emotions. Over time, discipline becomes identity. You no longer struggle with, should I do this today? It becomes natural, automatic. Just as brushing your teeth does not require debate, your disciplined actions become part of who you are. This is the transformation. What began as effort becomes effortless. What began as choice becomes nature. And so we see clearly, decision points the way, but discipline walks the path. Decision sets the direction, but discipline carries you to the destination. Without discipline, destiny remains a dream. With discipline, destiny becomes inevitable. The world may admire your decision, but it will respect your discipline, because discipline is the unseen power behind every great achievement, every lasting transformation, every destiny fulfilled. It is not loud, it does not seek applause, but quietly, day after day, it shapes your life until one day others look at you and say, they are destined for greatness. Yet you will know the truth. It was not destiny that chose you. It was discipline. One of the greatest traps of modern life is the obsession with speed. Everywhere you look, there are promises of quick success. Get rich in 30 days, lose weight in 1 week, master a skill in a weekend. People rush into journeys with the expectation that results must appear instantly, and when they do not, doubt creeps in, and many abandon their path. Yet nature offers us a very different wisdom. Growth is not measured in days, but in seasons. The bamboo plant, for example, spends years growing roots underground before a single stalk emerges. But once it breaks the surface, it shoots upward almost overnight. What does this teach us? That unseen progress is still progress. The process may be invisible, but it is never wasted. When we focus only on speed, we become impatient. Impatience makes us blind to the subtle changes happening within us. A student practicing meditation may sit for weeks feeling restless, believing nothing is happening. Yet deep inside, the mind is slowly learning to quiet itself. A runner training for a marathon may struggle through the early miles, wondering if endurance will ever come. Yet each step, though painful, is building strength. The process is working even when results are not visible. To trust the process means to surrender to this truth. Transformation is slow, but it is certain. Think of the sculptor who works on a block of marble. Each strike of the hammer removes only a small piece. To an impatient eye, progress seems invisible, but the sculptor trusts the process, strike after strike, day after day. Eventually, the hidden figure emerges from the stone, and everyone marvels at the masterpiece. Yet the sculptor knows the statue was always there, waiting. The same is true of our lives. Each effort, each disciplined action, each repetition is a strike of the hammer. On its own, it may seem small. Together, they reveal the masterpiece hidden within us. The danger of chasing speed is that it makes us fragile. If results don't come quickly, we feel discouraged. If progress slows, we lose motivation. But those who trust the process are unshakable. They know that the pace does not matter, only direction. A mountain climber does not demand to reach the peak in one day. He trusts that every step, no matter how slow, brings him closer. The river does not rush to carve the canyon, yet over centuries it shapes stone. Strength lies not in moving fast, but in moving steadily. Trusting the process also means embracing setbacks as part of the journey. Too often, when obstacles appear, people think, I must be on the wrong path. But obstacles are not signs of failure. They are teachers within the process. A seed must break before it can grow. Muscles must tear before they become strong. Setbacks are not delays. They are essential steps. If you judge progress only by speed, you will misinterpret these moments as failure. But if you trust the process, you see them as proof that growth is unfolding exactly as it should. Finally, trusting the process is an act of humility. It is an acknowledgement that we do not control the timing of every outcome. We can decide, we can discipline ourselves, we can act with consistency, but results arrive when the season is ready. This humility protects us from arrogance and frustration. It allows us to enjoy the journey rather than constantly chasing the destination. The wise gardener does not stand over the soil demanding the plant grow faster. He waters, he waits, he trusts, and in time the harvest comes. In the same way, once you set your path, release the obsession with speed. Focus instead on the beauty of the process, for it is the process, not the pace, that transforms you. When we speak of commitment, most people imagine walking forward while still looking back. They say, yes, I will try this path, but in the corner of their mind, they keep an escape route open. They think, if this becomes too hard, I can always return. If I fail, at least I had a backup. On the surface, this seems wise, like insurance against risk. But in reality, this hidden exit door weakens every step. For when the mind knows there is a way out, it never gives its full strength to the path ahead. Half the energy moves forward, and half the energy lingers behind. To achieve true transformation, you must close the exit door. Only then does commitment become real. History is full of examples of this principle. Consider the story of the ancient general who landed his army on foreign shores. Knowing they were outnumbered, he ordered the ships burned behind them. His soldiers cried out in shock. With no ships, there was no retreat. They would either conquer or perish, and what happened? They fought with unmatched courage, for the thought of escape no longer existed. Victory was their only option. This is the power of eliminating the exit door. It focuses the mind, sharpens the will, and releases energy that hesitation had locked away. In daily life, the same principle applies. A person who says, "I will try this new habit, but if it's too hard, I will quit," has already planted doubt in their mind. Their chances of success shrink because they have given themselves permission to stop. But someone who says, "This is no longer optional, this is who I am," removes the possibility of retreat. A runner who decides, "I will finish this marathon," will crawl if necessary, but they will finish. An entrepreneur who says, "Failure is not my ending but my teacher," will face setbacks but never abandon the journey. Closing the exit door is the difference between dabbling and mastery, but many resist this idea because it feels dangerous. They fear, what if I commit and it doesn't work out? What if I put everything in and still fail? Yet what they do not realize is that doubt itself increases the chance of failure. Imagine climbing a mountain with a rope tied around your waist that constantly pulls you backward. That rope is the exit door. It drags on your progress, distracts your focus, and weakens your spirit. The act of cutting the rope feels terrifying, but once it is gone, your climb becomes lighter. You no longer waste energy thinking of turning back. You give everything to the ascent. Eliminating the exit door also transforms identity. When you commit fully, you stop seeing your actions as experiments. You begin to embody them. The student who says, "I am committed to learning this craft," eventually becomes a master. The person who says, "I will give this relationship my whole self," creates bonds that survive storms. The individual who decides, "This is my path, no matter what," walks with a power that others can feel. People are drawn to such clarity because it is rare in a world of half-hearted commitments. And so, the principle is simple but profound. Leave no room for retreat. Once you choose a path, step onto it with both feet and close the door behind you. This is not recklessness, it is focus. It does not mean ignoring wisdom or refusing to adjust your methods. It means that at the deepest level, you have removed the option of abandoning your purpose. And when that option disappears, an incredible thing happens. Your energy multiplies, your creativity awakens, and your resilience hardens. You discover strength you never knew you had, simply because retreat was no longer possible. Eliminate the exit door, and you will finally see what your full commitment is capable of achieving. Most people, when they think about making a decision, immediately connect it with the future. They imagine how life will look in 5 years, or what rewards might arrive one day if they stay committed. And while this vision can inspire, it also creates distance. The decision becomes something far away, a promise that exists only in the land of tomorrow. But here lies the mistake. A true decision is not about what may happen in the future. It is about the transformation that takes place the moment you decide. The future may hold the results, but the present holds the change. Think about a person who decides, "I am no longer a smoker." The moment the decision is made, the identity shifts. They may still feel cravings, they may still face challenges, but the inner declaration is immediate. "I am not this anymore." The future will show the health benefits, the improved energy, the longer life. But the decision itself has already reshaped the present. Every true decision is like this. It changes who you are now, not later. And this is why a decision must never be doubted, because its power is not in what it promises, but in what it instantly makes real. The problem is that many people keep their decisions in the realm of someday. They say, "I will commit when the time is right. I will act when I feel ready. I will begin tomorrow." Yet tomorrow never comes, and readiness never arrives. The truth is, there is only ever one moment to decide. This one. Every delay pushes the transformation further away. Every excuse keeps the self trapped in hesitation. but the instant you decide, you collapse that distance between who you are and who you want to become. You no longer say, I will be this person. You say, I am this person now. Consider the martial artist stepping into the training hall. On the first day, they may not yet have skill, balance, or strength. But the moment they bow before entering, they are already declaring, I am a student of this path. Skill will take years, but the identity has already begun. Or think of a writer. The moment they put pen to paper and say, I am a writer, the future books, the recognition, the mastery are all in the distance. But the decision has already shifted their being. They write not because they are published, but because they decided that this is who they are. That decision exists in the now. This is also why decisions are so liberating. When you focus only on the future, you are weighed down by the endless uncertainty of what might happen. Will I succeed? Will I fail? Will others support me? But when you bring the decision into the now, all those questions lose their power. You are no longer waiting for an outcome to validate you. You are already living the decision. The smoker does not wait for 10 years of clean lungs to call themselves free. They are free the moment they decide. The student does not wait for graduation to call themselves a learner. They are a learner the moment they commit. In the same way, you do not need to wait for destiny to unfold. The decision itself places you on the path instantly, and perhaps the most beautiful part of all, when you decide in the present, you take back control of your life. The future is uncertain, the past cannot be changed, but the present, this moment, is always in your hands, and it is in this moment that all power lies. A true decision anchors you here, giving you clarity, identity, and strength immediately. It reminds you that the journey is not about someday, it is about now, and once you realize this, hesitation disappears, for you are no longer chasing a future self. You are already being that self today. So, my friends, life will always present crossroads, moments where hesitation whispers and doubt knocks on your door, but the truth is simple. Once you decide, you must never doubt again. Stand by your choice, even when storms rise, even when others question you, and even when your own mind tries to pull you back. Because the power of a decision lies not in the act of choosing, but in the courage to carry it through. The path you take may not always be smooth, but it will always be yours. And when you walk it with certainty, with faith, and with an unshakable heart, you discover something far greater than success. You discover freedom. So today, don't wait for the perfect moment. Don't let doubt steal the strength of your decision. Choose, commit, and never look back, for it is only in unwavering resolve that your true life begins.